Hey, what's going on, folks? It's Dr. J. I am excited for you guys to be here, part of this conversation in the National Entrepreneurship conversation. Just trying to see if this thing works. Last time I remember I was doing one and it messed up and I wasn't hearing my voice. I was like, I can't believe it did again. So this presentation is part of the National Entrepreneurship Month. And I'm totally extremely excited about that. And so we'll get started on that. So it's part of the National Entrepreneurship Month. Plus, I got this picture from the internet. In 2011, President Obama designated November as National Entrepreneurship Month to celebrate the success of entrepreneurs and innovators. So this month is dedicated to celebrating entrepreneurs all across the nation here, and from small business owners to multi-billionaires. Their success is our success because entrepreneurs help with the economy. They're a tremendous asset to the communities, especially when they provide jobs, as most individuals, of course, work in small businesses or in large corporations founded by entrepreneurs. So, round of applause to those entrepreneurs. And as part of that National Entrepreneurship Month, I'm giving this webinar now, giving webinars this or presentations this month. And this one's about what is entrepreneurship. It's the 101 of what is entrepreneurship, defining that, and of course, what is an entrepreneur in that sense. If you've heard of me and you've seen my other videos, Dr. J, I do have experience in startups. I've taught entrepreneurship. I teach entrepreneurship. I'm a certified practitioner of the entrepreneurial mindset profile, certified to get the innovator mindset as well, and of course, certified in the entrepreneurial facilitator for the Ice House. And so I have tremendous experience. Also, one of my masters is a master's in entrepreneurship from Oklahoma State University. So tremendous experience with that. I also want to first also thank our sponsors, LearnGenics, which made this possible. LearnGenics, visit www.learngenics.com, the learning and solutions company. So if you ever need LMS consultation, professional development courses, make sure you check out LearnGenics. So learngenics.com. Thank you to the Entrepreneurial Mindset Academy for providing the resources for this. And of course, Brain Fuel. Brain Fuel is an amazing energy drink that is delicious. So make sure you go to that site and type in the discount code Dr. J for an amazing experience with Brain Fuel. So thank you, sponsors. So the overview of this presentation is not going to be extremely long. It's just going to be straight and simple to the point. But we're looking at what is entrepreneurship and traits of entrepreneurs. What is it and how does it, what do we do about that? And so, think about, you've heard the word so many times, but you've probably heard it, right? If you're a fan of the Shark Tank show, you've heard about it. What is entrepreneurship? You've seen it, you've heard of it. But in your own words, how would you define entrepreneurship? Just think about it for a second. Like, how do you define entrepreneurship? Right? Write it down. Like, how do you define it? Some people define it by money. Some people define it by success. Like, what is entrepreneurship? And if you Google it, right, you're going to get a bunch of definitions or people's defining of entrepreneurship. In entrepreneurship, and I think it's, again, there's various definitions, but one of the a very well recognized entrepreneurship scholar and professor, educator, Dr. Michael Morris, he talks about, entrepreneurship is about individuals who are able to build, share with, motivate, and grow teams of other individuals. They create value where there was none. And of course, seizing opportunity. But I think that middle one right there is an important part of what entrepreneurship is about, right? They create value where there was none, right? You think about the well-known entrepreneurs like the Elon Musk, the Mark Zuckerbergs, Oprah Winfrey, Jeff Bezos, and the list goes on and on. The late Steve Jobs. They created value where there was none before. Before they came along, there was no value in such product or service. They came along, saw an opportunity, seized it, went after it, and created value to that product or service. And so when you look at an entrepreneurship venture, that's what they're doing. They're providing that specific resource, that specific, they're providing that value into the product or service. And so you have to really think about, that clearly in that definition. And I can't tell you how much important it is to know that that is what entrepreneurship is. That is portion of entrepreneurship. You have to be able to build something, you have to be able to create value in it, and you have to seize the opportunity, right? Entrepreneurs, very successful ones, seize the opportunity. um, like, for example, Discount Tire, the national chain. If you've seen Discount Tire at your town, the individual, and if his name is blank in my mind, but he started with 3 tires. He saw an opportunity, and he took it, and he seized the opportunity, and he created value. And now look at where Discount Tire is at. Same thing with two men in a truck, two guys in a truck. It was a mother who started. It was a side hustle, a mother and her kids, as a side hustle, and of course, look at where it's at today. So of course, creating that value is what makes entrepreneurship. So if you can't create value, if you can't seize the opportunity, then it really isn't entrepreneurship. You're just talking about it. But that's what we're looking at it. And characteristics of entrepreneur ventures, right? There's some instability, right? There has to be unstable. There's no stability in entrepreneurship, right? When someone starts a venture, there really can't be stability. There really isn't a clear path. You have to be strategic as to what you're doing when you're opening your business. There is no really right time to start a business, because if you wait for the right time, it's never really going to come. Anytime you open a business, no matter what time it is, whether it's a recession or not a recession time period, there's always going to be risk. It's a future oriented, right? And an entrepreneurial venture always thinks about the future. It doesn't stay stuck in the middle. They're always thinking about the next step, right? Like the small mom and pop shops, like your typical small mom pop shop dry cleaner, or the little quickie store, where you get your chips and soda, right? They're not so much future oriented in terms of, they're just want to make the ends meet at the end of the day. They're not thinking about expanding. They're not thinking about adding more services. They're just doing the day-to-day task. But entrepreneurial ventures always look at the future. Preferences for high risk, high potential, right? There is going to be some high risk when doing an entrepreneurial venture, but there is high potential, right? And expanding resources needs with ongoing cash shortages, right? One of the things about entrepreneur ventures is there's always going to be some shortage of cash, right? In business, cash is king. And the same thing in business. You need cash in order to grow your business. And there's always going to be that shortage of cash. And how do you raise that money, right? To continue to grow your business. And so if you look at this picture, there's some commonalities among these individuals. Yes, they may be different genders, different backgrounds, but if you look at these very successful entrepreneurs who've launched ventures and have cemented themselves in the entrepreneurship world, as you can't not mention these individuals when you talk about entrepreneurship, right? Damon John right there in the bottom right corner. You may know, if you are a fan of Shark Tank, you recognize him from that show, right? He started FUBU, a clothing brand for us by us, in his mom's basement. You know, a lot of entrepreneurship ventures start either in the basement or in their garages. Jeff Bezos. If you there's this picture out when Jeff Bezos first started Amazon in the 90s. It was like in a room, and it was a desk and him. And there's all this stuff around, and that's how he just started with a desk in an office space, and now look at him, he's a multi-billionaire, right? And so again, all these individuals have certain characteristics amongst them. Again, they may have came from different backgrounds, different gendered races, but they all have similar characteristics in their traits, right? And of course, these traits and characteristics, define an entrepreneur, right? You cannot be launching a venture or entrepreneurship venture without having these traits and characteristics. um, you mostly have to have them all in a sense, because they're going to come in fruition when you launch your venture or you have your venture loss and you're going through tough times. You have to have that achievement motivation, that locus of control, internal locus of control. You have to take calculated risk, not high roller Las Vegas style risk, but calculated risk. You have to have persistence and perseverance and tenacity to continue, self confidence. You have to have independence. Creativity comes into role, resourcefulness, adaptability. I think that's one of the things that trip up a lot of individuals in the process is that they are not, they won't adapt. And if you don't adapt, you die. And I'm not saying in a literal sense, I'm just saying if you don't adapt to the environment, you're going to fail. And if you looked at companies from 20, 30 years ago, like Montgomery Ward's, Venture, Kmart, um, Sears, I don't know if I mentioned or not, but if you look at the companies I just mentioned, what's the commonality amongst them? They are no longer alive in the sense they shut down, right? Because they were willing to adapt. And so you have to have adaptability, to be a successful entrepreneur, because times are always changing. Right now everything is about online shopping and quick delivery. So how do you adapt to that environment to make sure your business is successful for the future? And what's the next thing that's going to happen? You have to have opportunistic. You have to be opportunistic. You have to have organizational skills. Now, I'm not saying you have to be totally organized, but you have to have some type of organization. And of course, you have to have dedication. You have to be dedicated to the craft. And so that is really just a short glimpse and hindsight of what is entrepreneurship and the characteristics of entrepreneurship. These are my sources. Feel free to reach out to me. And of course, make sure you subscribe to this YouTube channel and like this video and share it with colleagues and friends and others. I actually, in this YouTube channel, if you go to just search, there is the direct YouTube link, or you can just type in Dr. J Real Talk. There is a Entrepreneurship 101 course that I have. And I'll be talking about some of those topics throughout this National Entrepreneurship Month. You can definitely check out that website. Check out the YouTube in the YouTube channel. Check out the Entrepreneurship 101 course if you want to take a deeper dive into entrepreneurship. But I will be talking about more topics this month to celebrate the National Entrepreneurship Month. So thank you all for joining. Hope to see you next time, and make sure you follow me on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter. Make sure you like and subscribe this page and check out my website. Until next time, folks, it's Dr. J, and see you all later.